Alright, what's up? Rich Van Tassel back with you, finishing up with the game recaps of Week 11, the early 1 o'clock games. The Minnesota Vikings beat the Los Angeles Rams 24-7. Minnesota is now 8-2. Los Angeles drops to 7-3. Jared Goff 23 of 37, 225 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Todd Gurley 15 carries, 37 yards, 2.5 yards per rush. The team 17 of 45, 2.6 yards per rush total. Robert Woods, 8 receptions, 81 yards. Cooper Kupp, 6 of 64. Sammy Watkins, 3 of 36. Todd Gurley, 3 of 19. Cooper Kupp lost a fumble. The team had no sacks, no interceptions. Farrell Cooper, 2 kick returns for 60 yards, longest of 34. So an average of 30 with only a longest of 34 is pretty good. Farrell Cooper, 2 punt returns for 12 yards. Greg Zuerlein, 0 for 0 in his field goal, so he did not attempt any. For the Vikings, Case Keenum, again, impressive, 27 of 38, 280 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Latavius Murray, 15 carries, 95 yards, 6.3 per rush, 2 touchdowns. Jerick McKinnon, 14 of 48, 3.8 yards per rush. Case Keenum, 3 of 26.7, the team 35 of 171, 4.9 yards per rush, so an all-around good offensive day for the Vikings. Adam Thielen, 6 receptions, 123 yards, 1 touchdown. Kyle Rudolph, 5 of 58. Stephon Diggs, 4 of 32. Jarius Wright, 1 of 23. Anthony Harris recovered a fumble. The team had 2 sacks, Tashawn Bauer and Danielle Hunter. No interceptions, no kick returns. Marcus Stroll's a 9-yard punt return. Kai Forbath 1 for 3 in his field goal. So you take 2 missed field goals off. One of them was a terrible miss. It was like 29 yards, so it wasn't even as close as the 24-7 score. And it was close for a while, but again, you had some missed field goals in there. I thought Los Angeles missed a couple opportunities. They had some drop passes, some downfield throws that didn't go. I was expecting Minnesota to get the victory. Look, now that Latavius Murray is coming along, and Case Keenum continues to play the way he is, it just shows how good this defense is because they shut down the Rams, who were basically scoring whenever they wanted this entire season. So Minnesota looking very impressive for Los Angeles. I'm not going to take much out of it. They were due for a bad game, a young team on the road who've been impressive on the road all season. It happens. Let's see how they respond from this loss moving forward. The Buccaneers, again, beating an AFC East team with playoff hopes. Miami now drops to 4-6. It was 30-20. Tampa Bay improves to 4-6. Miami, very difficult loss for the playoff hopes. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 22 of 37, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I was expecting turnovers from him. He did not deliver. Doug Martin, 19 carries, 38 yards, 2 yards per rush. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 3 of 9, 3 yards per rush. 24 of 53, 2.2 yards per rush. Mike Evans, top receiver, 5 of 92. O.J. Howard, 3 of 52 with a touchdown. Deshaun Jackson, 2 of 28 with a touchdown. Darius Glanton, Ryan Smith both recovered fumbles. 1 sack, Gerald McCoy. Quan Alexander, Justin Evans, Robert McClain all had interceptions. Jacquizz Rodgers, 2 kick returns, 53 yards, 26.5 average, longest of 29, pretty good. Adam Humphries, 1 of 7 in punt returns. Patrick Murray, 3 of 4 in his field goals. For the Miami Dolphins, Jay Cutler started. He was knocked out, 6 of 12, 83 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, rearing his ugly head again. Matt Moore came in, played much better, 17 of 28, 282 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Some of those picks were just terrible by Cutler, so he's back to his old form, at least for this game. Damian Williams, 10 carries, 78 yards, 7.8. Kenyon Drake, 7 of 4. That's 0.6 of a yard per rush. Matt Moore, 19 of 80, or the team altogether, 19 of 83, 4.4 yards per rush. Kenny Stills, 7 of 180 receiving, 1 touchdown. Jarvis Landry, 6 of 95, had another touchdown. Julius Thomas, 4 of 30. Jarvis Landry, Jakeem Grant both lost fumbles. Landry recovered a fumble. Kenny Stills fumbled. It was not lost, so the receiving corps was putting the ball on the ground a lot. And that's how you lose a game where you were gaining much more, especially in the, or just significantly in the running game. That's how you lose a game to a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You turn the ball over a lot. 1 sack. It was Jordan Phillips. No interceptions. Jakeem Grant, 3 kick returns, 69 yards, longest of 31, average of 23. Jarvis Landry had a negative 6-yard kick return. Damian Williams, negative 17. That was on the final play of the game where they were trying a lot of laterals and ended in a touchdown. Jarvis Landry, 2 punt returns for 20 yards. Jakeem Grant had a punt return for no yards. Cody Parkey, 2 for 2 in his field goal. So Miami, difficult loss for them. Do they turn back to Matt Moore? I don't know. I think Moore is a better option. I thought he's one of the better backups in the league. But to start an entire season, that's a completely other story for Tampa Bay. Look, if Ryan Fitzpatrick limits his turnovers, you got a chance. You have a decent defense in the front seven. Their secondary is suspect, and it was evident in this game because they gave up some big plays. But look, they were essentially in a run-the-table position if they want to make the playoffs, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Kansas City got beat by the New York Giants 12-9. Kansas City drops to 6-4. The Giants improved to 2-8. I knew this was going to be a tricky game, as evident by the injury reports, but you don't usually expect Andy Reid to lose off a bye. Alex Smith, 27-40, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Those were bad interceptions. They were definitely throws that sailed on him a bit. Travis Kelce threw a pass that was also intercepted. Kareem Hunt, 18 carries, 73 yards, 4.1 per rush. Alex Smith, 5 of 27, 5.4 yards per rush. This was an overtime game, by the way. The team, 29 of 134, 4.6 yards per rush. So the offense to only score 9 points. Granted, you had the turnovers, but still, you got a lot of yards. You were effective with the run game. Travis Kelce, 8 receptions, 109 yards. Tyreek Hill, 7 of 68. Anthony Sherman, 1 of 11. Ross Travis, 1 of 11. DeAnthony Thomas, 2 of 11. Kenneth Acker recovered a fumble. DeAnthony Thomas fumbled. It was not lost. No sacks. Daniel Sorensen had an interception. Akeem Hunt, 3 kick returns, 49 yards. DeAnthony Thomas, 1 of 39. Tyreek Hill, 2 punt returns of 9 yards. DeAnthony Thomas, 2 of 8. Harrison Buckner, 3 for 3 in his field goals. For the Giants, Eli Manning, 19 of 35, 205 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Shane Vereen threw a pass that was intercepted. Orleans Darkwa, 20 carries, 74 yards, 3.7 per rush, 1 touchdown. Wayne Gallman, 6 of 19, 3.2. Shane Vereen, 2 of 13, 6.5. The team, 32 of 112, 3.5 yards per rush. 3 receptions for 55 for Roger Lewis. Tavares King, 3 of 48. Travis Rudolph, 3 of 34. Orleans Darkwa, 2 of 16. Receiving, Khalif Raymond recovered a fumble. 1 sack. It was Devin Kennard. Janoris Jenkins, Damon Harrison, Landon Collins all had interceptions. Khalif Raymond, 1 kick return, 6 yards. 2 punt returns, 8 yards. Aldrick Rosas, 2 for 2 in his field goal. So you had a situation where Kansas City outgained them passing, outgained them rushing. The turnovers were just about equal, and they still could only score 9 points and couldn't beat a poor Giants team. I don't think Kansas City approached this game the way they should have. They came into it, as we noted in the preview of this game, they were leaving a lot of guys in as injured outs. I was surprised by that. I'm just seeing if the penalties will come up for just a second here, as my computer's been a little slow. I want to see how bad Kansas City was in that department to justify really how they lost this game, because there's really no excuse for it. I don't know what my computer is doing right now, so we'll just talk a little more about it. Like we said, you left some guys out. I was surprised by it, and this is what happens when you don't take a team seriously. I don't care how bad the Giants have been. They're still a professional team. You're traveling to play them, and you ended up losing. So Kansas City, look, they started out 5-0. They have now dropped 3 of their last 4. It's certainly a serious situation for them. They need to right the ship, and they need to right the ship fast. They're suddenly opening the door for the Oakland Raiders, so let's keep an eye on that. It was 9 penalties of 87 yards to 5 of 48 for the Giants, so that's part of the reason, too. So Kansas City has got a lot of things they need to figure out as they move forward. The New Orleans Saints came back and beat the Washington Redskins 34-31. This was another overtime game. New Orleans has won 8 straight. They're 8-2. Washington drops to 4-6. Tough loss for the Redskins. Kirk Cousins, 22 of 32, 322 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Samaje Perine, 23 carries, 117 yards, 5.1 per rush, 1 touchdown. Chris Thompson, 4 of 17, 4.3. The team, 33 of 156, 4.7 yards per rush. and the touchdown. So Washington got a very good game from Kirk Cousins, ran the ball very well, and that defense, which has been solid, could not hold a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter. Josh Doctson, 4 receptions, 81 yards. Jamison Crowder, 7 of 72. Vernon Davis, 3 of 67. Ryan Grant, 3 of 59, a touchdown. Chris Thompson, 1 of 16, a touchdown. Morgan Moses recovered a fumble. Kirk Cousins fumbled. It was not lost. 2 sacks, Anthony Lanier II, and Ryan Kerrigan. DJ Swearinger had an interception. No kick returns, no punt returns. Nick Rose 1 for 1 in his field goals. For the Saints, Drew Brees 29 of 41, 385 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Mark Ingram 11 carries, 134 yards, 12.2 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. Alvin Kamara 8 of 42, 5.3 yards per rush. The team 23 of 167 yards per rush. Now, granted, this takes 2 carries for minus 20 yards off from Josh Hill and Ted Ginn Jr. So that's part of the reason why Washington was getting gashed with the run game. Michael Thomas, 6 receptions, 91 yards. Colby Fleener, 5 of 90. Ted Ginn Jr., 6 of 87. Alvin Kamara, 6 of 75, a touchdown. Josh Hill had a 3-yard touchdown as well. No fumbles. 2 sacks, Cameron Jordan and Von Bell. No interceptions. Tommy Lee Lewis, 3 kick returns, 62 yards. Willie Snead, 1 of 18. Tommy Lee Lewis, 2 punt returns, 38 yards. Average of 19, longest of 24. Effective. Will Lutz, 4 for 4 in his field goals. Very tough loss for the Washington Redskins. They really had to have this game, and they had it won. Again, the Redskins are a team that surprises you when you expect they're not going to play well. They do. Their defense, look, it's tough to keep the Saints on board. You have a situation where the Saints can just drop back and throw. You're not necessarily in the prevent defense, but it's one of those things where it actually could. You could look at it as being enabled for a team to come back, especially like the Saints, where they're down, they're just, going no huddle, they're up-tempo, and suddenly they score 15 points, and all they really need is a 3-and-out. So very tough for the Redskins. You can put some of it on the defense, but again, it's tough to handle the Saints when you have them in that situation. I know you'd say 15-point lead, how is that tough? Well, I just gave you the example. They go up-tempo, they go hurry up, and it becomes difficult. All right, when the 4 o'clock games go final, we'll give you the recap of those. Be sure to stay tuned. And remember, we appreciate all subscriptions as well. Thank you all so much. We'll see you in a little bit.